Hello everybody, my name is Erik Teren Mullins, and today I'm going to be talking about anime, which is something I haven't done in a little while. But I guess I've been sprinkled out a little here and there throughout all my anime figure reviews. But being a pretty huge, massive fan of Evangelion, I felt like I just had to make a video about this because I'm really on the fence about the whole thing. The series has been out for a pretty long time now, and I remember watching it way back when, translated by fans, using a program called Real Player back in the 90s in order to watch these subbed things, and that show completely blew my mind and opened it to a whole new world of character development that, being so young, I never even really put much thought into. But even before I started getting older and taking classes on literature, I kind of realized that that show really had an amazing way of developing and evolving their characters. It was a massive inspiration for my own manga, Blithe, and this whole thing is full of character development. It's something I love the absolute most, and it's because Evangelion really helped form me as a person when I was younger. So finding out that they're going to be making a new series, whether it's a continuation or maybe a complete reboot, I didn't know what to say. I feel like the series is complete. They told the whole story that needed to be told, and when they released those 3 films years later, it was a fun add-on, but not something that was necessary to watch after having seen the original show and the Death and Rebirth film. Hold up, seeing that level of animation quality, as well as the twists and turns that they took within this sequel fake reboot, was very intriguing, and I did enjoy quite a bit of it. And personally, I wouldn't mind seeing a series where we get a bunch of the characters, they're all grown up, we get to see where they're at now. That would be interesting, but definitely not necessary and could just cause more harm to the franchise as a whole. Though at this point, you have Evangelion shaving cream, Evangelion basketballs, Evangelion backpacks, shoes, shoelaces, t-shirts. The fact that the series still holds up today is a testament of how great it is, and it's why it's so heavily marketed onto everything. So many things. Kind of makes me think of the intense merchandise we got back in the 90s for the Ninja Turtles. And of course, for this new show, they're clearly going all out. Original creator, Nier Automata script writer, fantastic directors. But despite it feeling like it's almost going to come off as a passion project towards other creators that want to dip their own hands in that cookie jar and see what they can tell as a story, who are they making this for? Fans of the original series are already pretty happy with everything that we have, especially just the original series. I suppose they want to pull in new fans. Lately, there's been a lot of shows getting the new anime treatment. Things like Urusei Yatsura, which I think was warranted. The newer one is beautiful artwork, and I feel like the pacing just comes off a little more upbeat and fun, but it's just newer, and the older one was still decent. However, Ranma 1/2 was... why? The original series was really great. The newer one is good too. It's just they're so similar. The differences are very minute and really not necessary other than pulling in a crowd to show up and then what? Buy manga from back in the 80s and read it? Like, most of these people aren't going to do that. They're just going to watch this newer show and buy merch from Ranma, I suppose. Sailor Moon ended up getting the Crystal series, and that was pretty warranted considering that the original show was vastly different. Personally, I preferred it, but that's the whole character development thing. I'm willing to go through 70 episodes of that by the time we get to the main boss, but just 10 episodes in Crystal for that same thing? Ugh. It was much more similar to the manga, and because of this, I think that was the perfect kind of remake to do. Ava's not based off of a manga. Oh, there is one. I've read it. It's alright, I guess. Ghost in the Shell is getting another remake. They sure like to remake that one. They kind of sell you off on this beautiful newer style animation to go with the old 80s style artwork of the manga. I absolutely love that. But you really need like a 3rd or 4th Ghost in the Shell reboot. Now, I'm not here dunking on this saying, oh, it's the worst, they should never do this. I'm saying that there are so many other things they could have done. Personally, I think that Hideaki Anno should have definitely pitched and done some remakes to some of his older shows that might not have aged as well as one would have liked. When pulling in a big brain Asimov type like Taro Yoko, maybe they should have done Gunbuster. The whole time displacement and differential aspect towards fighting species in space is very intriguing. Getting a full 24-episode series of that with great concepts and a bit more of a mature style of writing, we could get significantly better character development, and I think the audience that we have of today could really love and appreciate something like this. It's not just another shonen, not an isekai, not a fantasy, but a science fiction hardcore through and through. Another one that could hit close to Mr. Anno's home would be Nadia Secret of Blue Water. He never really got to polish that one up, and it was such a shame because the level of adventure and excitement that you got from the beginning of that series all the way up until that The Islands arc was so terrible. Imagine having that series completely rewritten. Another great science fiction ingrained in fantasy with all sorts of different diversity and variety of characters all throughout the planet. This thing is fantastic. Why are they not going to remake this? I guarantee you it could be timeless if done properly, and I'm sure that given all of the credibility of the people on board for the new Ava show, had they all decided to do Nadia, I think it would have been a solid hit. Still working within the realm of what these kind of creators could have done well with, I'm thinking Genesis Climber Mospeada. That's an old anime some of you might recall as the third season to Robotech from the West. If that show got a full solid remake, we would have incredibly awesome music, great robot and character designs, as well as just a really cool concept for a series that they could have polished up just a little bit better so that things feel a little less episodic and we have a more solid line going throughout the whole thing. Having any kind of series that starts off with the humans have lost the Earth, they're living on Mars, and they are no close to winning any kind of war against this enemy is so interesting. And they could really develop that, especially Taro Yoko. Are you kidding me? This guy could just take that and run with it, and if we get a good animation quality, oh my gosh, Mospeada. Turning something from decent cinema into absolute cinema is the name of the game here. Otherwise, what's the point of taking something that's already the absolute cinema to just move sideways? Another suggestion is Aura Battle or Dunbine. Fantastic anime. We had some of the creators to classic Gundam working on this. All these cool, awesome isekai elements, but it feels more like a fantasy, no video game sort of shenanigans, and just the character development in this series. The character and monster robot designs in it is so unique and out there. This show being made in today's day and age by a lot of really good writers and an animation team that knows what's up and respects the source material could be 10 on 10. And if you want to start thinking outside the box, as if I haven't already kind of been doing that, why not Akira? We're talking about an animated film that really broke thresholds and boundaries, forced Disney to rethink their animation quality, and this is a single film that the story in itself takes place during a single moment in the manga that we have for it. Turn that into a TV show. The whole thing, the entire manga epic. And with this kind of creative superstar creative team on board, that would be just... it would break boundaries once again, and it would probably be a show that goes down in history as that classic anime that was so epic, and then they made a show of it that was just as epic and just forced the industries to start looking at things a little differently. Because as Hideaki Anno had once said, they should be making anime for their Eastern audience, not their Western ones. And if it's really great, we're going to gravitate towards it anyway. It's clearly how things have been going. Just shonen after shonen getting all the biggest budgets is rough. Some of these shonens are great, I'm not dunking on that, but having so many of them, having so many of these isekais all get their shot, all get their budget, all get their crews working on their series, when it would be nice to see something a little bit different, something that you know is going to end after just 20 episodes, and it's going to be a beautiful epic saga. It had an ending, and that will make you a little sad until the next really good show comes out, and you get to go through all of that, and you're always going to look back on that older show with quite a bit of fondness. And the number one epic idea I personally think that this team should have decided to do would be a Vampire Hunter D anime series, a decent original film back in the 80s. In 2000s, we got Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust, which to this day, you could go watch it. It holds up of how impressive it is. You just look at it and think, how is this all done by hand? The story is fantastic, the character design's incredible, the music is gorgeous. This series has a slew of books with character designs and illustrations by Yoshitaka Amano, is really groundbreaking for when it came out, and its setting fits so perfectly with Taro Yoko along with Hideaki Anno's style. Fantasy, science fiction, vampires, monsters, ghouls, macabre, dark horror, everything seems to be so well weaved into this series. It would be an absolute home run. And there are so many more ideas and concepts that they could have run with that were older shows that didn't necessarily pass that finishing line, as well as some of us, the viewers, and I'm sure some of the creators would have hoped. Otherwise, I still think it's pretty cool to see something like this, but I am a little weary about it, and as I mentioned earlier, how do you top something that's already such top tier you don't. You just go sideways. So we're just gonna get Evangelion, like all these shows that are all equally as good as Evangelion or close to. And I think it's kind of a shame because these creators are such amazing powerhouses that if you had given them an IP that had struggled a little in the past, they would have blown our minds away with it and revitalized something that didn't have the opportunity that it should have probably had back in the day. If you have any comments that you want to say about this video, maybe you don't agree with me, maybe you totally agree with me, maybe there's some shows in particular that you're like, this is it, this would have been perfect, be sure to write so in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Classic. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. This way you'll be notified of future videos I come out with. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.